In Baldur's Gate 3, the color of an action usually aligns with what it does. Fire spells are orange, poison green, and ice is blue. But did you ever notice pink is assigned to garbage, true strike, animal friendship, color spray? They're all worthless to anyone who can read. The perfect restriction for a challenge run. Can you beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only pink actions? The rule for this run is all actions I use both in and out of combat must have a pink icon. Their background color and graphical effect doesn't matter, only this image. For example, jump, weapon attacks, and health potions are all banned. Booming Blade is purple, which isn't pink, and if you're colorblind, you're just gonna have to trust me. I never did you wrong before. Our hero today is Barney, named of course after the guards from Half-Life 1. He's a bard because they get 6 usable actions from level 1. The real game begins with moving all these nasty colors off our skill bars and meeting Lae'zel. Being a fighter, she has no available actions, and can do nothing but stand while listening to Barney verbally harass imps. Further into the Nautiloid, I whispered death threats into the ears of an unconscious man. Shadowheart brought command to the party, and we nearly wiped reaching the transponder, as no pink action aids in one's ability to move quicker. With the beach level unlocked, Shadowheart joins, as is tradition, and our top priority is dyeing our armor pink. The only gameplay mod I'll be using for this run is unlimited pink dye, because I'm too cheap to spend $50 on a pink t-shirt. Back to the real issues at hand, without jump or hide being available, these intellect devourers are a mandatory encounter. Initial attempts at battle go as well as they normally do in a challenge run. Terribly. Shadowheart has no way at all to help deal damage, you can't dash away, 2 spell slots aren't nearly enough, and Vicious Mockery does a maximum of 4, though oftentimes just 0. You'd need dream speedrun levels of luck to win this straight up, so in typical Proxy fashion, I won't. Through repeated game overs, I discovered you can spend all your spell slots to secure a single kill using Dissonant Whispers, while remaining far enough away to flee the battle. Long rest, and come back tomorrow for more. Canonically spending multiple days resting to kill individual level 1 opponents. Shadowheart's still impressed.
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
And that's exactly the type of positivity I need in my life. Astarion looked fabulous killing a Mind Flayer with his 2% hit chance. Then at the Goblin Gate battle we continue hurling insults, as it's the only reliable move. I particularly enjoy this poxy-pissed pervert line. With another victory under our fashionable belts, I led the group towards the river to recruit Karlach. A run like this without her would just be wrong. A slight problem arises, as there are no pink class actions available in Act 1 which help you cross a river. Much of the map is effectively region locked. To me, learning I can't do something is the greatest motivation in life to get it done. So maybe I'll discover a solution on the internet. BG3's wiki understandably doesn't have a filter by color option as far as I can tell, so several hours were spent studying class pages. Briefly got distracted by the Roman Empire, then several 8-hour-long brief gaming retrospectives, but afterwards, I found it. There she is, in all her neon pink glory. The Charger Shove feat. All you gotta do is reach level 4 and the worst feat in the game will let you use a different colored version of the same shove skill that everyone already has by default. With the Emerald Grove holding the most RP friendly sources of XP, I figured mocking a caged up goblin who can't defend herself would be a good start. It was, until it wasn't. The anti-bullying police showed up. Sure, tieflings can kill her without any repercussion, but when I call her a piss-drinking buffalo gooner, half the town shows up in her defense. You can't explain that. Reading a scroll for less than a second got us to level 3, unlocking Mantle of Inspiration and Crown of Madness. 2 pretty decent pink spells. It's quickly become apparent that stacking 4 bards would make the most sense, but playing optimally ain't something I want to be known for. Rather, let's use 4 unique classes for a bit of extra flavor. Changing classes requires withers on our side, even more so because Gale died and res scrolls are banned. Turn Undead and Dissonant Whispers did the job, leaving the Bone Man free to do his job. For once he'll even get to keep all the gold I'm giving him, as pickpocketing ain't pink. Apples are red. This script has taught me if the whole YouTuber thing doesn't work out, I at least know my colors. Thanks to Withers, we add a Sorcerer, Rogue, and Warlock to the party. New classes, none of which bring new ways to attack. Combat is still complete as, coming down to purely Vicious Mockery spam. Gale being killed helped, as his necrotic corpse aura is more reliable than all of us combined. After running a thorough bullying campaign across the lands, our goal of level 4 is achieved. Unlocking Pocket Send on Astarion, and more importantly, the Charger Shove feat, which apparently isn't pink. Okay, whoever uploaded a fake Charger feat to the BG3 wiki, I need to know why. What did you have to gain from this? Yeah, I rage quit the game at this point and went to sleep. That night an idea came to me in a dream. Maybe it was a nightmare. Because it's wild magic surge fishing. By level 4, you have access to Silence, the only pink ritual spell in the game, and with it you can spam cast Silence while praying for a 5% chance to trigger a 1 in 22 wild magic surge telekinesis. I'm not good at math, That's why I'm a YouTuber. But I believe that's around a 0.2% gamble. Someone with a real career out there, please correct that. As expected, Lady Luck ain't on my side. Our party spent in-game weeks trying to get over a bridge. Did you know long resting whilst on magic fire is fine? Or that the surge heal animation still plays on objects? This process is just so tedious, I began wondering if I just modded Charger Shove to be pink, would anyone out there notice? 1 hour and 36 boring minutes later, telekinesis is granted. The feeling of euphoria experienced afterwards, all the proof needed that gambling would ruin my life. Barney is tossed over via telekinetic surge. The waypoint unlocked. And Karlach has no idea what silent hell I went through to guarantee her position in the pink posse. Game sound has never quite pissed me off like this run. For people who enjoy my suffering, I decided muting the sound is cheating. Betcha Pocket Sand only would have been quiet. It's been a long time since I failed to prevent goblins calling in backup during their slaughter, but I guess I'm the stupid one for thinking 8 attacks would kill an 11 health opponent. Most of the party then got arrested, my computer blue screened, nearly had a mental breakdown. Though upon learning you can just warp your party out of this prison by using the door, my recovery began. With disaster averted, a slower, methodical approach was employed. Killing a single target, then running for the door. A goblin's greatest weakness. I'd hoped that by freeing Halsin we could make use of his impressive ability to deal double-digit damage. However, nothing he has quite fits within the spectrum of Proxy-proofed colors. Thunderwave feels ever so slightly too purple. And with viewers like Connor out there calling out my bullshit, that's a risk I cannot take. The game crashed again. Thanks, Todd Howard. Sorry, force a habit. He's just so blamable. Overall combat is so slow that random thoughts just keep popping into my head. Why does insulting a spider deal damage anyways? Not like they have feelings. Garagson is nothing special, as usual, and floating eyeballs are an enemy immune to all shades of our damage. They looked on as Minthara fell and continued to watch as I lay prone on the floor waiting for Astarion's fine sand to end my life. Getting into the Underdark is no problem, but this 2-inch gap in terrain is. If bridges worked, life would be simple. Since they don't, and there's way too much XP over there, we called on a boulette to grant us aid. It nearly soloed one of our Minotaur combatants, with a chest wall tactic holding long enough to survive the other. The Underdark yielded some much needed XP, with Bilro the Forgotten helping to reach level 5, unlocking several new spells, none of which help in the damage department. Vicious Mockery's doubled to a maximum of 8 though, so we got that going for us. I believe this is the first challenge run I've ever attempted where there is just no way at all to heal in combat. Crazy how much you miss her when she's gone. Explosives are yet another unavailable tool, so clearing this rubble to free True Soul Near is a new puzzle. Before attempting to do so, it's customary to stomp the locals, but a stupid unkillable stalker eyeball just won't leave me alone. I locked it in the patented Proxy prison, where 6 stalkers belong. Our dwarf eradication begins by stalking prey, like a panther in the night, isolating them, serving them with intense dance moves, followed by name-calling and sand to the eyes. Schoolyard bullying tactics. Though tedious, it's far from the worst thing I've done. Mid-massacre, I even discovered a new OP trick. Apparently when a guard accuses you of a crime and locks you into this chat, you can switch characters, cast Crown of Madness to make them insane, and then just attack them until they die without any combat trigger. Surprisingly, it even works when they're standing next to their allies, so long as they're both in a conversation. When the final 2 Dwargar are isolated, I grew curious to see if an enemy would attack a bomb I dropped on the ground. Not like they're doing a challenge run. It appears they do. That's a neat find. Near being free nearly wiped us afterwards, with a Dark Urge invisibility cloak saving the run. No other forms of invisibility are tournament legal. While all that was depressing, the biggest disappointment came from the realization that reaching the upper areas of Grimforge, like a lot of the Underdark, is impossible. That's a lie. Telekinesis works, but even I don't have that little self-respect to attempt such masochism again. I did it once over of Act 1's areas, but found this party doesn't have the damage it takes to kill any bosses. Can't kill a spider, can't touch the owlbear, and can't reach Bernard's penthouse suite. As BG3 is an RPG, I'll just have to go and grind to a higher level, come back later and wreck the bosses to pretend I got good. We're all guilty of it. Act 2, the Shadow Curse lands. Barney's giving off some serious villain vibes here. The look on the Harper's face is showcasing both fear and confusion. Couldn't save a single one from the shadows, their feelings were justified. To further doom the locals, I greeted them at Last Light Inn and conducted a plan. Luring the enemies to other NPCs works roughly 37% of the time. The Shambling Mound will be today's test subject, and for once I prepared a backup plan for when things inevitably go wrong. Our planty opponents gave chase through the bridge choke point straight into a chest wall, and of course the useless Harpers did absolutely nothing. Our wall, however, held. Plants can't jump. They stood, unable to reach us while we leisurely spammed out our very weak attacks. That is until one died, Chain React exploding, banally busting my wall. The one time this strat was working brilliantly and I screwed it up. It's not all bad though, we got to learn some things, like plants can climb ladders. open doors, and convince Isabel to side with them against me. Somehow it even managed to arrest Karlach and throw her in jail, a betrayal I never saw coming. Congratulations, Harpers, you've just made the list. Our new method to reach level 6. Amongst the chaos, an unfortunate wild magic surge spontaneously combust Dammon, and a mad Harper team kill finished off our level. Once again, this doesn't help out in the slightest, though if we could suffer through one more painful level, everything will probably, possibly, maybe change. I've got dreams. This party may be incapable of overpowering bosses, but Act 2's many dialogue-free kills prevented me from smashing my peripherals in frustration. Snake Eyes can't stop a bard armed with friendship. Intentionally failing to protect Helson's portal gives you full XP, so if you're ever indifferent, bored, or incapable like us, there you go. And although I normally avoid battling the shadow-cursed undead, they ended up being the perfect target, as their low charisma stat means they have no self-confidence. Vicious Mockery inflicts serious emotional damage. Ding! Level 7. Do people still say ding? With this level comes Avard's Black Tentacles. Finally, a good pink action. To show off its power, we bring it back to the newbie zones. Watch in awe as our pink posse deals damage above 10 consistently for the first time, defeating level 3 bosses, level 5 bosses, and an entire creche of Githyanki soldiers. Well, almost an entire creche, as there is one last pink combo we can use to further expand our toolkit. Polymorph Dominate Beast. By a miracle of God, these two actions are both pink. Well, Wargaz can be polymorphed. Well, Wargaz can be polymorphed. Well, Wargaz can be polymorphed. I said he can be polymorphed. It may take several days, but eventually it's true. As a sheep is a beast, Dominate Beast can be cast by a companion. The pair is sent back to camp and dismissed, then re-recruited for a potent Githyanki ally, who has access to both Mindsteel Link and Psychic Rend, two brand new pink actions, one of which makes enemies vulnerable to Psychic. Nearly everything we do is Psychic, but that's not all. We went full Pokemon mode, enslaving both True Soul Nier and a Spectator, via magical sheep domination. And that's pretty much every NPC in Act 1 I could find with a pink action. By complete accident, I also discovered if you save the game and reload right after doing this trick, you can carry them into further acts. Moonrise is in for one hell of a surprise today. My excitement didn't last too long. I expected more considering there's 3 bosses with us. The 7 of us are nearly as low on the DPS meter as Scott was back in Old War. It's been 16 years, Scott, but I never forgot. The biggest bonus these guys offer is our Spectator finally granting a viable method to kill the floaty eyeballs. He is the king of floating eyeballs after all. Level 8 is achieved here, and to celebrate, I accidentally romanced Gale. The man's not been in the party for over 10 hours. Don't know what happened. Next morning, our murder hobo rampage continues, through Murlocs, stink pits, and into the Gauntlet of Shar, where the undead Sharans were really annoying. Not one action among this team is capable of targeting umbral portals. A tentacle door fuckfest commenced, with a body count rivaling your mother's piling up before us. Balthazar basically offed himself playing in the tentacle muck. Always a pro, that guy. Afterwards, Lady Shar's trials need to be done legitimately, as there are no pink actions capable of cheesing the door. For the mirrored combat, the smart thing to do is to strip down and battle your naked selves. Yet today I got no fear of what a copycat can do. A bit disappointing they don't don our team colors, but I can confirm they are weaker than standard unarmed clones. Second gem down. The third gem took but a single glance at the map. 2 years of doing the exact same maze does eventually pay off. And with these 3 spheres obtained, we're now stuck. Yurger's gem requires crossing a 3-foot gap, a problem further indiscriminate killing will resolve. For today, we've not been murder hoboing without reason. Slaying a few more plant monsters gives us all the XP needed for level 9, unlocking the real telekinesis spell. No longer will gaps in terrain threaten this hero. Barney uses his pink tongue to defeat Yurger. The gem is acquired. Elevator de-elevated. Orbs orbed into position, and it's time to Teen Teletoss through the Shadowfell. Warlocks work best here as they have enough extra spell slots from short resting that it's near impossible to screw it up. Just take turns mentally throwing your allies down the line until you reach the end, where Shard is yeeted at the Night's Song, forced to spear her in a cutscene to avoid a future self-imposed softlock. Help comes in many colors, none of which are allowed. Spent 15 minutes fixing my action bars before doing what needs to be done. Hello there, Ketherick. My party's pink, and we're really glad to meet you. This tower top engagement is a complete stomp. We're overleveled. He's stuck in tentacles, eating laser beams from a Spectator while a mad ally fireballs his face. Wargaz making the man vulnerable to Psychic feels illegal. 48 damage is pretty damn good. Prior to entering the colony, I rounded up a couple more creatures from within the zone using the polydomination trick. The wiki once again lied about Karnas having a pink action, so he's useless. I found Mummy here has access to a pink sleep action, and this was all I could find in all of Act 2. Perhaps I shouldn't have killed everything without thinking earlier. A psychic immune membrane blocked the path, handled by kinetically flip-flopping a chest into it repeatedly. A tsunami of slaughter washed over the colony, the lives of many lost to attain my resident stone. A pink glowy alien looking thing which makes nearby creatures take double psychic damage. It's a good thing. Looking a little spookier than usual, we descended the finally no longer broken elevator to observe the dead three's chosen and their shiny pink netherstones. These evildoers, far too infatuated with their own narcissistic bullshit, failed to notice a very obvious group of fabulous pink soldiers looking on from the sidelines. No box trickery is needed for Ketheric for once. When you have a spectator perma-locking down his human form via paralyzing a shadow mummy tanking Skelebros, the initial phase of the encounter is a bit of a joke. It's really about time something went well. We may not have healing, or movement, or reliable damage, but we've got stuns. In Phase 2, Merkel is immune to all stuns. A damage race commences. Thanks to psychic vulnerability being a guarantee, our team of 9 heroes can nearly rival half the DPS of Morgana's solo stealth archer build. Impressive, I know. Without casualties, Merkel is sent to meet Merkel Jesus. Orga's joined the cutscene. Never seen a random NPC do that before, though he deserves the stardom. Off Ketheric's corpse, the pinkest netherstone is claimed. We exit the Shadow Curse lands, get ambushed in our little tight sleeping bags, telekinesis up to the portal, get punched in the face, slay some Gith, and begin our journey across the space rocks. This happened. No idea what the hell that was, but the intellect devourers hate us for it. An instant replay reveals when Nier is tossed, Karnus was mysteriously deleted. Who cares, he's gross. Without him, we continue ignoring the Emperor's repeated demands to hurry. Empathyless prick. Like, look what I'm dealing with here. All these ridiculous distractions left me fully unaware of the bomb I'd just planted within the party. Are you seeing what I didn't? The Emperor is supposed to talk to you prior to battle, but thankfully by some combination of all the nonsense I've been doing, we get to skip all that. Instead, it's our turn to ambush the Githyanki using hypnosis. Not long into battle, they returned fire via ball, and all hell broke loose. There's the bomb. Turns out every time I telekinesis this spectator, it had been growing charges of its Paranoid Dream passive. Upon reaching 5 stacks, it unleashes a high damage spinny tornado laser beam, stuns everyone on the screen for 2 turns, my team included. Despite that, Squid Bro still didn't join the encounter, probably because he's a bitch or something. And in the chaos, True Soul Nier loses his life forever. These Gith must pay. One by one their minds collapse from psychic blasts. No thanks to Mr. Dumbass Squidman. He then forced me to evolve against my will, robbing Barney of his beautiful eyes. Act 3 begins with sadness. As a side effect of polydoming people is you have to drag around the corpses of the fallen. A constant reminder of my failures. As our Gaslighter Mind Flayer ally so kindly demanded, Act 3's goal is to gather additional allies in the city, though not any which require quests. In advance, I've scouted out potential party members in the region, starting with Mizora. Sheep polytricking her works. She brings no damage at all, but does add to us 4 great crowd control spells. In the Society of Brilliance, Bataris joins, bringing a unique vacuum missile attack. At the Devil's Fee, Helsik offers a free use disarm, and an aura which super buffs melee attacks. Cool for people who play normally, useless to this gang of freaks. And finally, in the Emperor's old hideout, Wargaz introduces us to Tarai Harak, who after murdering her friends joins us. She gets Wrathful Smite 3 times per long rest, and telekinesis via the gloves she's given. The Pink Avengers have been assembled. There's probably over 1,000 NPCs in Act 3, and this is every single pink action I could find. Like, surely I missed something, but it's surprisingly low how many enemies represent this color. For further gains, we invade the home of a vampire lord. PSA, Black Tentacles is crazy overpowered. Slept on this spell for far too long. In combination with our 1500 stuns per turn, Cazador is repeatedly paralyzed, slept, and commanded to growl before us, until permanently being put to rest by Astarion's pink ritual. Alright, clearly it's red, but what is red if not a darker shade of pink? I'd hoped these newfound vampiric powers would give Pocket Sand some much needed bonus damage. Doesn't work though. Oh well. Within the sewers, I pocket sanded my own face to spill blood on the floor, opening the Undercity door. Our party's lack of movement or invisibility means Manslaughter Chasm is a major difficulty check. If you can't kill the ghost in 5 turns, your party's wiped. Going in blindly, we can barely reach the ghost in that time. The plan I came up with is to chain fog cloud the room, moving up together unseen across the makeshift bridge. Looked promising, until combat triggered. Though not with the insta-killing ghost. This is new. Taking advantage of the situation, we threw several murderers into a pit, one of which drops a key to a door I didn't know exists. Back here, we can loop around the outside of the arena, picking off ambushers until arriving right at the ghost's doorstep. It's new experiences like this that make me love doing challenge runs. The whole crew now instantly in position, gang beats this red ghost with a bit of sandy goodness ending the trial. As we roll up to the Ball Temple, there is but one feeling. Barney here is feeling it in his fingers, feeling it in his toes. Orin has got to go. Normally when an ally interferes in the Dark Urge duel against Orin, it switches back to the standard encounter. Apparently not true for Dominated companions. She's picked the wrong day to fuck around with my tight crew. Me and my boys messed her up. She's utterly humiliated, forced to grovel. I cast Vicious Mockery. She saves. Round 2? She don't. For pacifying or in a dark ritual similar to Astarion's commences. But this reward is much greater. Power Word Kill. A one-time use appropriately colored attack which compels an enemy with 100 HP or less to die. Pretty good. While setting Volo free, I got in trouble with the long arm of the law. An important lesson. Only sand is capable of penetrating this robot's shiny metal ass. No other moves in our arsenal can do anything. This one incident is all the evidence I need. We stand no chance against this handsome young man. An alliance is forged with Gortash. Before taking a trip to Gordy's pool party, I did one last search to see if I missed recruiting any potential hero in the Pink Avengers. Looks like the Mystic Carrion has a unique curse he could bring. To get into his home, you need to dominate a local rat. That's a lie. The rat doesn't fit through this hole in the wall like I expected. Instead, read the secret password on a piece of paper in the alley and use the door like a normal person. A bit of an odd discussion followed. I've never met Oscar in this playthrough, yet the option to tell the carrion he's possessed is on screen. Worried I'd contracted a new form of challenge run-induced brain damage and forgotten my own actions, I dropped everything to check up on Oscar's condition. He's clearly not possessed. Just another classic example of Act 3 story jank. It anyway set the mood for the nightmare that was to come. Never realized fighting with the camera to see anything was a Larian-approved boss mechanic. Telekinesis somehow aggroed all the second-floor zombies through the roof. They hears Johnny the door. It's a complete disaster. To cherry-tot this bullshit Sunday, Carrion's immune to domination. Does it say that anywhere within his essay of tooltips? Screw this guy. Enjoy your life on the beach. We're going shopping for all the pink scrolls in the world. Afterwards, we pack 10 dudes into a tiny boat to sail towards the Morphic pool. This brain cat ambush is very typical. The meeting with Gortash? Anything but. My god. I live for beautiful bugs like this. Someone get Detective Slimex on the phone. We got a new mystery. Was a little worried that the game froze when the brain said its voice line and nothing happened for a solid 30 seconds. Like, I typically would blame mods, but all I'm using is unlimited pink dye, so I don't know. The rest of the scenario played out as normal, albeit very laggily. Within the prism, Karlak volunteers to turn into a mind flayer, preserving our pristine perfect pink scales. And in the upper city, the freak show gathers. Courtyard Snooze Fest is a hell I'll do anything to avoid, even if that means weaponizing Shadowheart's own body to rip apart this rusty iron gate. Felt clever building a crate tower to climb over this locked door, then realized there's a lever here after almost everyone was already through. We methodically defeated the sewer mutants using tentacle door strats, and then suffered through one last annoying telekinesis scroll jank to reach the Nautiloid Gauntlet. I decided 8 years ago that I will never attempt this gauntlet again the way Larian intended. I've seen speedrunners toss frogs directly to the end, so why can't I toss an emo woman? I boxed a few crates high, then waved telekinesis wildly until seeing 100% pop up. She did the trick, skipping the gauntlet. The cutscene teleported us all up there, and now the whole party can climb up the fleshy beanstalk to take on the brain boss. Glad to see True Soul Nier's burned body could make it. This boss with these rules is the most I've ever struggled on it out of any past challenge. I tend to prefer going up the side paths during this encounter to avoid tentacle conflict, but from what I could tell from several hours of failed attempts, you'll never survive long enough. Our damage is far too pathetic to kill anything. The only realistic chance I can think of is going right up the middle, past the dragon while throwing out stuns. I discovered that fogging the backline mind flayers takes them out of the fight. Not sure why they refuse to move. And grouping all the other enemies using telekinesis sets up a very reliable hypnosis lockdown. Mizora and Mummy can catch any stragglers using their spells. Low HP tentacles are focus fired down, leaving the crown the only real threat. As far as I'm aware, nothing I have helps to avoid its blast. It's just pure RNG, hoping Netherstone holding Karlak isn't targeted, because when she goes down, the fight's immediately over. Using all these tactics, we moved up every turn, slowly inching towards it. Having these extra allies was crucial here to have enough crowd control and cannon fodder available. Took 6 turns to reach it, and now likely for the first time in restriction-based challenge run history, Karsa's compulsion doesn't need to be an exception in the rules. Karlak cast the spell to open the portal legally. After nearly an entire day racking out game overs, this was the first time everyone important survived long enough to enter. They are far from healthy, but still alive. The item fling trick helped to deliver our resonant stone aura up to the brain, then we nuke and pray. Crates can be used with limited success for actionless drops on allies to further platforms, as can telekinesis, buying us additional rounds in combat. Though even with all of these tricks, much of the party died before our second damage phase. 6 members are left to dish out 303 damage. Attack 1 misses. Pataris chunks it for 38. Karlak died before getting her turn. That was a misplay. Spectator raise it in the dome. Barney, dissonant whispers for 56. Astarion repeats the move, followed by a coarse sand toss into its frontal lobe, pushing Brainy down to just 99 health. All but 1 bit of stable ground is Orb of Negation. The Avengers fall into the abyss. After 8 hours trapped in Groundhog Day final boss hell, only Barney stands. This brain may be the smartest thing in the universe. but it's too stupid to see it's already over. Power Word Kill can target anyone with 100 health or fewer to insta-delete them. Last platform. Last man standing. You can't get much closer than that. Barney the Pink Dinosaur did it. He betrayed his allies to claim his spongy-looking perfect throne atop the Netherbrain. And I proved you can beat Baldur's Gate 3 using only pink actions in just 56 hours. If you've enjoyed this video, click the new YouTube hype button, then subscribe. Click the bell, share it, super like it, pop it, remix it, become a member. Use the dating section to find your soulmate, fall in love, marry, have kids. Tell me your life story in a comment. He cheated. Click divorce. It's okay. Here's a demonetized corpse explosion challenge run for an ad-free experience. Feel happy. Life is good again. Forget all the garbage bloat features on this website. Sleep. As always, big thanks to my channel members for their additional support. You guys are amazing. And until next time, Proxy out.